Hello. Welcome to episode 16 of T&A Explore 3. In this episode, I am totally goblining out. Yes, it's time to be a goblin again. Not making any pretty farms. Well, really not making anything very pretty at all. We're making machines, we're making contraptions, we're making a factory. Yay! Fortunately, I record these intros at the end after I've recorded all the video. And fortunately, I looked at some of these clips before recording this. So in the first clip, you'll hear me babbling on all sorts of nonsense about clutches turning and not turning based on power. I'm talking nonsense there. It's not clutches that I needed the power for. It's funnels. So whenever you hear me talking about clutches turning and stopping to control machines, it's actually funnels opening and closing to let stuff in and out. So yeah, there's that. Anyway, enjoy the goblin-y goodness. Hello. It's time to do some factory work here on the civet floor. Firstly, these two NOT gates. This is going to be an inverter bank. The idea is I'm going to have a bunch of machines, and each machine is going to request stuff from machines before them. Because clutches work on, they don't turn if they're powered. I need these inverters because the requesting system is going to send a redstone signal. And if any of the requesting systems, say for instance I've got 3 things that need cobblestone, if any of them want cobblestone, they're going to send a positive signal. And then this is going to turn it around so that the clutch that stops the stuff coming out of the cobblestone generator will start turning because it won't have power. So to build, what I've done is I've done some work in creative, done some design work in creative. So we need a schematic cannon and a schematic table, and then we stick well, this is actually not blank because I just made sure that the stuff's available. But basically CobbleGen 2 is my latest cobble generator design. We stick that onto the schematic. We grab the schematic out here. Firstly, we need to see how big it is because I want to clear some space. I know it's going to be one lower than this. So up to this stone here. And my main bus belt is going to be along this row here. So I might as well clear that whole row. So I'm going to be going that way. And I'm going to go a long way that way. Okay, so now we've cleared the floor space where we want to build this thing. Now we want to place it, I think it's going to go right there. So this is what my cobble generator is going to look like. Importantly, up there, the schematic cannon doesn't place fluids. So up there I have to waterlog each of these. Each of those drills I have to waterlog. And I have to put lava on the top layer here. So I'm going to be breaking some of the glass that the schematic cannon places down. So now our next step is we take the schematic and we put it into the schematic cannon. And then we take the book and we stick it in there. And then this book tells me what I want. So every time we want, what we can do anytime is we just take the book, stick it back in. And now it's updated. So I think we've got everything in here. To make sure, we grab our book, we stick it in there. We take a look and everything's green. Okay, so now the last thing we need is fuel for the cannon. So we need some gunpowder. And then we open the cannon and we check the settings. So don't replace solid. I always check the settings first. Replace solid with solid. Replace solid with empty. Just in case there are solid blocks, I like to use this setting. In case there are solid blocks, that should be air blocks. Protect block entities. Yes. Can avoid placing data holding blocks, such as chests, which is fine. And then we just pop some gunpowder in there and we say go. And then we watch the fun. And our schematic cannon is busy building my design. Simple as that. Quite straightforward. It's quite loud. One thing the schematic cannon often gets wrong, well, always gets wrong, is your item vaults. It'll place them, but it'll mess up the placement. That it won't connect properly. So after it's finished building, we just have to break the item vault and build it again. Just break one corner off and put it back in. There we go. Ding! And that's built most of what it can. So what we do, firstly, we yank out that and we put it back, which fixes the vault. So I hope it fixes the vault. Yes, it does. Yes. Okay, so let's take a look at what this does. Firstly, my power is going to come through that belt. So the creative motor that I made last time is going to go right where that block is. Power is going to come out through here. It's going to hit. Encased train drive is going to go that way, and then it's going to come through this clutch into this set of encased train drives to run the drills up there. Up here, now the stone was really not necessary, but that's fine. Those drills are going to be waterlogged, so water is going to flow out of them into where you see the stone there. And the blocks above the stone are going to have lava in them. So the lava flows down, it hits the water, turns into stone, and then the drills break the stone, turn them into cobblestone. And below each one is a chute that feeds it into the vault. Back here we have this threshold switch, which produces no power until it's at 75% full, and if it's at 75% full and it drops down again to 25, it'll stop. It'll produce power. No, it'll stop producing. So at 75 it goes to the hot lane, at 25 it goes back to the cold lane, and that controls the clutch. On this side we have a that's interesting. Where'd my redstone link go? Oh, I didn't put it in. Okay, never mind. So on this side we're going to have this redstone link here. So stick it in there. And we need some smooth stone and cobblestone. So the scheme that I've worked out is red smooth stone means an inverted signal, and the blue is what it's asking for. So right here there's going to be a crushing setup, and it's going to ask for cobblestone. It's going to send a redstone signal when it wants cobblestone. But to stop this, you have to power it, which is why we need 2 more redstone links. Caps lock is not a good idea. 2 more redstone links. Okay, firstly this has to be in receive mode. We put one there and one there. And this one is going to be the inverted signal. And that one's going to be the signal from the requester. So there's going to be a requester here. If that sends out power, that power is going to be inverted, and that's what's going to arrive here. So right now, this thing ain't sending nothing. And that's my cobble string. Now I do need to, yes, I need my silk touch. And I think I need 7. And I actually need another bucket, because I need 7 lava buckets and at least 2 water buckets, so that I can make a little infinite water source here somewhere and waterlog all those things. Okay, so back to Hilltop, be right back. One quick supply run later, we've got 2 buckets of water and 7 buckets of lava. So, before we do anything else, I don't have to run back for more water again. Okay, there's my water. Now what I want to do is make sure I've got my magnet on. Yes, I have. Because I'm going to need to break quite a bit of glass here. And I think most of that stone went into my item vault. Oh, wonderful. Oh well, that's fine. So, waterlog that. Let's see if this works. Yes, it does. Okay. Close that off. And then we want to start placing some lava. Place the lava carefully. We don't want to place it in the water. We place it there, 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 there. There, there. I just make them all lava sources so that it's a little bit faster. You can put our glass back. And there we go, there's our cobble generator. I'm setting this to exactly 16 because anything less is a waste of time. It doesn't matter if there's 4 stone in there, it's not going to end the world. what I can do is I can actually power this thing now. So let's go get my creative. There's my creative motor. I just want to make a hole here so that I can see where I want to put it. But then I'll have to place it from the other side. And there we go. The machine's running. And you can see here it's already breaking stone. And we have 21 cobblestone already. Now before anything else, that's going to drive me crazy. Now right now I'm running this thing at 16. Running the belt at 16. The reason for that being just that I want to be able to see where it's going, and if I do something wrong I don't want it to go crazy on me. Now we do the next machine. You can grab the empty schematic out of there. Go to the schematic table. And we want crusher 1, which is my final crusher design, or my latest crusher design. And we have everything. Check the settings. Settings are rose. Stick a bit of gunpowder in and play. Now you'll see it's replacing the incorrect blocks with the correct blocks because of the settings in the schematic in it. Let's go up a bit. Let's look at it work from above. And guess what? I placed it wrong. I placed it wrong. I put it in the wrong place. I put it in the wrong place. I'll have to break it all down and start over. Okay, take 2. I'm gonna put it there, but that's wrong. There we go, that's where it's supposed to go. Yes, that looks right. We can go like that and play. Let's try again. Take 2. It is building like crazy. And was that it? Missing item gearbox. Okay. Let me just get a gearbox. Couple of gearboxes. Oh, that looks ugly because the schematic is still placed. It's almost done. There, it's done. Now let's see if we can get this schematic to disappear. Yes, we can. Good. Okay, so first things first. That was a placeholder block. Secondly, my bolt is not properly connecting. There we go. And on this side, we're going to have the same issue, and I can't take that one out. There we go. So now the bolt's correct. Okay, so firstly, you'll see the belt's not turning. There's a connector there. So I need to put two in-case chain drives here. But before I power this thing, let's take a look at what it does. Firstly, it's going to pick up cobblestone. So any cobblestone coming along is going to go in here until this is full. Here, it's going to request cobblestone. So until this thing is 75% full, it's going to keep requesting cobblestone. And then stop, and then when it gets down to 25%, it'll start again. It's never going to get down to 25%, let's be honest. Because there are other things requesting cobblestone, and this vault has to be full before those things will get their cobblestone. But anyway. And then we output from there through the crushers and input into here. And this threshold switch is just going to stop this clutch when it gets to 75%, which will stop the crushers. It won't stop the requesting of cobblestone until this gets to 75. But that's basically it. So here we've got gravel and smooth stone as the incoming signal, which is this one here. So if something requests gravel, this will start releasing gravel. So I've been goblining. So let's have a quick look. There's a lot of machines here. I've been having a lot of goblin-y fun making machines. So firstly, let's look at this again. So when I have two of the same item, that's the request circuit. So when a vault wants something from a vault early on the build, it'll power this. This NOT gate inverts it, and then this, if this is not powered, then something is asking for that item. If it is powered, then nothing is asking for that item. Simple machine. So all these machines, all of these things use one source product, cobblestone. So this cobble generator will be working quite a lot, although right now I've got that feeding into it because I've got 2.4 million cobblestone in there at the moment that I generated back at the hilltop base. So let's take a look at the different kinds of machines. This is a crusher. Obviously, there's crushing wheels there. So it requests its item, in this case cobblestone, feeds it into the crusher, and the crushed result goes into this vault, in this case gravel. That threshold switch there controls this clutch. This clutch powers all of this stuff. So when this is full, like in this case, this stops running, and then that can fill up, and the machine just sits there with a lot of cobbles, with a lot of gravel. This one does the same. It asks for gravel, and it makes clay balls, flint, and sand. The flint I'm just throwing away. I've got too much flint as it is. So the flint I'm just throwing away. Clay balls, I've got the request system. Sand, I've got the request system. At the moment, something is asking for clay balls, but this thing is so full of sand that it's not actually making clay balls at the moment. The next machine we have is a washer. So this one asks for gravel. It washes the gravel into iron nuggets and flint. Again, the flint I just throw away. The iron nuggets, just to make life easier, the iron nuggets are actually pushed out here and go into this compacting drawer. Once this compacting drawer is full, it'll start building up iron nuggets in there. So this one's going to run for a long time before it fills up and stops asking for gravel, stops washing gravel. This one's a bulk blaster, asking for sand and turning it into glass. Straightforward bulk blaster. It's the same as the washer, actually. It's exactly the same machine as the washer, except the washer's got water there and the bulk blaster's got lava there. Another washer, washing sand into clay balls. This is where most of my clay balls are coming from because that one's full. So it's washing sand into clay balls. Straightforward design, same as the other washers. Bulk blaster, again, asking for clay balls and making brick. This is called brick, not bricks. That's making brick from the clay balls. Here's my access door. This one is asking for brick, and this is a packer. So it's asking for brick. It puts it into the basin and it gets packed into bricks with an S that I like to call brick blocks. So this one is making bricks. I had to use a item pipe here. This one is controlled by that threshold switch there, which controls the clutch next to it, so it'll just stop stomping when this is full. Our next item here is not really a machine as such, it's just collecting clay balls and putting them into the compacting drawer to get clay bricks or clay blocks. Again, item pipe, because I left space here in case something needs to request clay blocks or clay balls, although clay balls I can get from somewhere else, but if it's something needs to collect clay blocks, I can use this space or this space to output them onto the belt. Sand gets haunted. This is a haunter. Oh, that's a bit far. So sand gets haunted into soul sand. So the sand just gets pulled out of here, put onto the depot, gets haunted, the soul sand goes in there. So I've got a lot of soul sand. There are things I can do with soul sand later without adding any more ingredients. So you notice so far I haven't added any ingredients and we're up to soul sand already. This one requests soul sand. It's a washer and it's washing into gold nuggets and nether quartz. Because gold nuggets, there's a 2% chance of one gold nugget for every soul sand that gets washed and a 12% chance for 4 nether quartz. This vault filled up with nether quartz very quickly. Well, a lot quicker than gold was being made. So I put this little contraption up here, this little solution here. There's a threshold switch there, which is set fairly low. And that controls this funnel here, and this funnel just spits the quartz out to keep us down to about 8,500 quartz. If it goes above that, it goes up to about 8,600. It spits some out to get the level down again. Here again, I am extracting the gold nuggets to make gold ingots and blocks of gold. As you can see, 79, and this can hold 1,024. So this is a very slow machine, extremely slow machine. That's why it's running all the time. Bulk blaster again. This one gets cobblestone from all the way over there. Comes in here, goes in, gets blasted into stone. I'm not storing any stone at the moment because I'm asking for stone in other places too. Next bulk blaster asks for stone, and it makes smooth stone. This one is full, so you can see the fan is not running because it's full, so it's not blasting anything, and that's just stuck there. The next machine is another packer. It asks for stone, and it creates stone bricks. And so far I've got 16,000 stone bricks. The way this one stores, by the way, is the basin. It's the same with the other packer as well. The basin ejects onto the belt, and then the very next funnel pulls it back into there. Now there are more things I can do without adding any ingredients. So more things I can make from cobblestone. Specifically, if you look at soul sand, look at the uses for soul sand, we are washing it. You can also bulk blast it into scoria. So that's one item I can make. And then if you look at the uses for scoria, you can use automated shape crafting with brick and scoria to make umber bricks. And I think that's as far as it goes. Without adding any ingredients, we can get umber bricks. So we can get scoria and umber bricks as well. So I can add 2 more machines here. The one that makes the umber bricks is going to be relatively complicated. I haven't worked out how to do that yet, but I'll figure it out. And then, of course, what happens is anything that comes onto the belt that isn't picked up by any of these machines just goes boom. And it goes all the way around to over here. I have a list filter on here. Let me take the list filter out. It's a deny list for flint and nether quartz. So anything other than flint and nether quartz ends up in here. Flint and nether quartz just goes through and falls into the hot source. And that's my machine. That's my factory so far. 2 more machines I can add without adding any ingredients. Everything you see over here, every single item you see in here is made from cobblestone. Plus sand, with me, plus stone is also made from cobblestone. So all of these items plus stone. That's a lot of stuff. So yes, there we are. Your goblin's been having a lot of fun making this pretty good start to a factory. At some stage I'm going to be adding some items that do need extra ingredients. Probably starting in that corner. And I'm not going to come along here, I don't think. I think what I'll do is I'll go through the walls and carry on. Yeah, I've got lots of space here to do all sorts of machines. But the first thing I've got to do is add more ingredients. I'm going to have, I can make all the dyes with hopper botany pots and crushers. I can probably make all manner of food and stuff with hopper botany pots. Some items I'll have to just, like for instance, for stuff like all the copper things, I'll have to just bring it in here and insert it into the factory through this terminal. There is also, for instance, if we look at, let's look at a simple one, stone. There is, you can make infested stone, but I'm not going to do that. But you can also make all of these things by pushing them through a block cutter, mechanical saw. So I haven't even started thinking about what I'm going to do here. This is probably going to happen on that side of the factory, even though it is items you can make without adding any ingredients. Maybe what I'll do is put some there, and then if I don't fit them all in there, I'll extend out that way and then add the other ingredients for other stuff after that. And that is the factory, and that is the episode, and thank you for watching, and goodbye.